I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but this is like 2 days after Thanksgiving. Wait, let me get a little close. Happy Thanksgiving, or late Thanksgiving. I hope everyone is thankful for my awesomeness and my biceps, and yeah, let's just get right into this video, guys. After Wano's conclusion in the anime, I figured it's the perfect chance to talk about who was the stronger individual during that encounter. And despite Luffy catching the W, there's still been a lot of controversy regarding this topic, and today I'm going to be doing my best to speculate who is not only superior, but who would win in a fresh one-on-one instead of after both of them are just being completely washed of energy. Regardless of who you think is the stronger individual, there are a lot of factors that need to be analyzed before we can even come to a conclusion. So without further ado, let's analyze all of Luffy versus Kaido on rooftop.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Already going into the Onigashima raid, Luffy had received an L from Kaido, but learned the ways of Rio and can now even get past his durability. With him, he has the likes of not only Law and Kid, but also Zoro and Killer assisting him, who are all able to individually get past Kaido's durability through bypassing it with hacks. For Kid, he was using shockwaves. For Law, he was using Gamma Knife. For Killer, he was using an ability that can cut his opponents from the inside. And Zoro is also using a form of Rio or advanced armament. This is important since this means Kaido the whole time is taking internal blows, and despite this, he still transforms and dunks on all the members fighting alongside him, and then throws a combo move with Big Mom that damn near kills Zoro himself. Now, yes, Kaido did have the assistance of Big Mom, but Luffy had 4 other individuals helping him, and without Zoro, he would have just died right there. The fight continues, and as we know, Luffy taps into Advanced Conquerors and starts to turn the tides, landing decent blows on Kaido and being able to clash with his Haki. However, we see during their second fight, we have Luffy getting outpaced and clonked by Kaido, and then he had to receive the assistance of both Momo and Yamato. And mind you, Yamato had a straight one-on-one encounter with him before then teaming up with Luffy to take him on. And even after this and him utilizing advanced Haki again, you'd expect Luffy to probably get the upper hand by this point, right?
No.
Well, you see, in the middle of this fight, Kaido drinks and implies that it doesn't make him weaker, and you can guess where this road will take us. I'm sure of it. Kaido would be finessing Luffy, and not just base Advanced Conquerors Luffy, but also Luffy with Gears 2 and 3, and even clumping the 2 strongest variations of Gear 4, that being Bounce and Snake Man. So he not only learned Advanced Conquerors, which was greater than his initial Gear 4 on rooftop, but then stacked it with Gear 4 anyway, and still got clumped. And when I say clump, I mean Kaido literally just outpaces, hits Luffy in the head, and kills him. This dude, Luffy, died. He not only essentially won round 1 as Luffy was about to die, but he also won both 2 and 3. In between these, he was drunk. And as Luffy is adapting with Advanced Conquerors and, you know, using the gear multipliers along with it, do you know what Kaido is doing? Sobering up, meaning Luffy's multipliers don't even matter. Kaido just slowly getting more and more sober has unironically more of an increase than the gear multipliers. That is crazy. After this, we see none other than Luffy's Gear 5 transformation, which revived Luffy and allowed him to regain his strength yet again to fight Kaido. So now Luffy at this point is at the strongest he's ever been, while Kaido has basically not stopped fighting since chapter 1000. As we know, Luffy sort of trolls on Kaido for a couple chapters, stretching his eyeballs out from the inside of his socket, able to turn Kaido's head into rubber through his punches, you know, turning him into jump rope, and pretty much Kaido was just getting dunked on by Gear 5. However, Gear 5 stamina is Dookie Buns and is unironically worse than Gear 4's, meaning before Luffy could do anything significant since he was just trolling, he would just run out of stamina, and despite him getting Gear 5 back, Kaido would just simply start to output more and more of his true power, and Luffy would begin to struggle again even in Gear 5. As this is happening, Kaido would go on to state how abilities aren't enough to conquer the New World, as he then establishes Haki transcends all. We then see Kaido cast the second strongest attack we've seen him do in the series, which is just an amped Thunder Bagua. This is the attack that blitzed and did some pretty significant damage to Gear 5. He would then blast him with a breath attack, which Gear 5 seemingly looks like he's being taken aback by this, and due to Kaido's strength diminishing and Onigashima being held by Kaido, this then allows Luffy to bring home victory and what's basically his King Kong gun but in Gear 5, and would go on to clash with Kaido's strongest attack, that being Rising Dragon Flame Bagua. Now, yes, this attack did get overpowered by Luffy, however, it wasn't without struggle and he did manage to make it a clash between the two. Obviously, there are other factors like Luffy not trying to kill everyone there and Luffy not actually just like doing a full-on punching motion, meaning he probably could output more force, but I'll go into why that isn't really relevant here. Now, with the overview done, let's get into specifics on who had the advantage throughout most of the fight. If we're especially including the beginning of Rooftop and not just Gear 5 versus Kaido, I'm not gonna lie, the only way you can say Luffy was the stronger opponent is if you downplay the amount of injuries Kaido sustained along with making a statement that isn't even all that reliable. The statement I'm referring to is Luffy apparently being stronger or surpassing Kaido, which I don't really think is true. I think initially Luffy was beating him up, but Kaido wasn't going all out, so it's more than likely referring to the Kaido right before he casts his second and most powerful attack. At best, I believe that the Kaido from the initial Rooftop probably gets put in a coffin along with Base and Dragon Kaido, since we know that Base Luffy was actually pressing Kaido and, you know, he would go on to drink and sober up. The reason I say this is because Kaido and Luffy fight for a long time hockey clashing, meaning it's more than likely they were blooming their hockey. I mean, Luffy kind of was during the fight with Kaido, but it could also just be Kaido outputting more power. But I think if he's suppressing himself and clashing with Luffy and showing relativity, I don't think that would necessarily contradict him getting stronger. But you guys let me know down in the comments. I don't think it's too big of a relevant point, but I would like to hear your thoughts. Kaido as well also shows off his strongest attack near the end of the fight, so let me know what you guys think. What surprises me is that the fact that Kaido can actually press Gear 5 even despite all the attacks he's taken from the Scabbards, Law, Kid, Killer, Zoro, Yamato, all while holding up an entire island and drinking Hennessy mid-battle, and somehow evolving during the fight? Like, I'm sorry to you Luffy fans, I think Kaido's performance was 100% better than Luffy's here. How do you jump someone and still lose? Like, what? Another thing to consider is the fact that Kaido, out of any One Piece character, probably has the best showcase of endurance, and his opponent is Gear 5 Luffy, which, by the way, Gear 5 runs out faster than Gear 4 does on ironically, and he can just barely keep that form up for 10 minutes before running out of haki and needing to regain stamina. And like I said, aside from like maybe a Kainu or Kuzan who fought for 10 days straight, Kaido probably has the best endurance shown in the series. Not only does the manga show that Kaido might damn near be stronger than Gear 5 while under normal conditions, but at worst these two just scrap and Luffy loses Gear 5, leading into him dying right then and there. With no island to hold or over 10 individuals jumping him with the best abilities that have Dura negation, Kaido under normal circumstances would cook Luffy. And to address one last little chicken nugget argument that I know some little nerd is gonna comment down below, no, it does not matter how much effort Kaido was using to lift up an island, and it doesn't matter how good his endurance is. If you are getting hit with attacks that negate your durability, and if you are holding an island with over thousands of people on it, then it doesn't matter if it's unquantifiable or if you calculated him doing this, it's not that high of a feat. Regardless, these are factors that people need to stop ignoring, and Kaido would just dunk on Luffy, okay? He's him. But Kaido tards, do not get it twisted. This dude is not top 1, alright? You can go cry in your corner. He is above Kizaru.